Are we in? Are we in? Thank fuck. Welcome, everybody. We were having some computer trouble there. Oh, that was a lesson in state management in itself there. I nearly just fucking threw the toys of the plan and went home. Luckily, Jason talked me down. So, look, here we are. We're going to do the Sales Hacking Live webinar here. I had to just change laptops. I had to use Jay's email to him, all sorts of shit. Everything just broke at the last minute. There was a couple of people having trouble getting on. Hopefully, you guys are on now. Look, we've got the ability to record this one. So we're able to record it from Jay. So if people have been struggling to get this on, you're watching this in the replays because we sent you the email to the link because we got it recorded. All right? So we're going to go into this thing right now?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's rock it.
Let's go in deep.
As long as this shit works. Now, I need to share the screen with you here, so bear with me a second. This is Jay's laptop, not mine. Going to share the screen. Boom. So hopefully you can see the screen here now. We'll just bounce into the presentation. So prepare this shit. All right, here's one I prepared earlier. Hope this fucking works now. Here we go. We will see. Yes! It's working. It's working. And if we can see the, how do you do the
up the top
slideshow? Play from start. Yes! Look, before we get into the whole sales thing, oh, look, we're right on the top here. That's handy. We can see our beautiful selves. So before we get into anything, I learned this off dudes who were teaching bankers to sell bank loans, and I thought it was a really cracking task. And their task was they had to draw a bank loan. But you guys are different. You just don't sell bank loans. You sell something different. But what I want you to do is just get a pen and a piece of paper and a pen and just draw what you sell. I'm going to give you a minute and 60 seconds. You can draw it while you're listening to it. You can doodle away. But we'll give you at least a minute to draw what you sell. Some people are going to be selling personal training. Some people maybe nutrition. What else? We've had massage therapists come on your courses and stuff like that. So you guys, neuromuscular therapy, draw whatever the hell it is. Draw what you sell. There's got to be a few people scratching their heads going, how the fuck do I draw this?
Yeah, I'd say so. Somebody doing dumbbell curls.
So draw what you sell.
Say what you see.
We will come back to this at the very end. There is a huge lesson in just that small task. It's a cracker. You're going to like it. All right, but let's get into it. Short introduction. I'm going to do this very, very fast because we have a lot of stuff to get through. So basically, me, I was a fat kid, 15, long hair, t-shirt, Metallica on the front of it, set of tits you could milk a cat with. And basically got into fitness, got leaner, tried to look like the cover of Men's Health, the people you see on there. And before I got anywhere near that, what happened was, I suppose, the confidence is what comes faster when you start into training. All you guys that's watching this will know. But that sort of stuff comes quicker. And basically, what it did was it gave me the confidence, belief in myself. That's really what happened. And in the environment I grew up in, you can see on the screen here, it was a car sales environment. So I went straight into that at the age of 17. At the end of that summer, found I was pretty good at it. Ended up buying my first house at the age of 18. Got somebody to go guarantor with me. It was only 61,000 back then. You couldn't buy a fucking shed for that in Dublin these days. But yeah, ended up buying my first house. Fast forward 14 years, ended up running the company you see in front of you, which was doing 25 million a year. Biggest sale in my life was 4.5 million. It's that one up there on the top left. We sold to a guy who made Kentucky Fried Chicken burgers. What that tells you is there's more money in chicken nuggets than there is in fucking selling Hondas. The teams I managed over the time sold more than $250 million in cars. So the whole background and the whole reason I'm on here today is because the stuff I've learned is from that. It's not really from personal training, but I've learned how to adapt that to personal training. And yeah, sales teams we've managed across the years, some of them had major successes. But the dealership on the bottom right there, I turned that around in 2 years. It was losing $7K a month, turned it into making $14K a month. It went from bottom of the shite pile in customer service to #1 in customer service in the region and top 10 in car sales in the UK. We were actually selling that company at the top left. We sold that. We rolled it over into a massive property deal. We were going to sell another property deal for $4.5 million. We were going to sell it to the Department of Social Development to make 98 houses. And on the eve of them signing that deal, you might have seen way back there was a slight downturn in the global economy. Lehman Brothers, the biggest financial institution in corporate banking history in America, went broke literally overnight. They filed for bankruptcy. Then it was Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and just one after the other they fell. And basically, as the saying goes, when America sneezes, the rest of the world catches the cold. But that's exactly what happened. We ended up losing absolutely everything. So basically, my life was flushed down the toilet, and I was left going, I have no money, no house, no car. Within inside of 9 months, that quick, basically the bank just seized all your assets. There were people in the UK and Ireland basically blowing their brains out, especially guys who were big into property and that sort of thing, you know. So I was looking at myself going, what the fuck? What the hell am I going to do with my life? And the only thing that really had stuck with me the whole time was training. So I said to myself, well, fuck, could I be a personal trainer? Could I actually make some money out of that? Could you support yourself? And the thing I found was that, yeah, you could. But I had to go and get my certification, and it was from people who put pictures on their website like this. I was like, why the fuck has she got an easy bar on her back and squatting with it? Answers on a postcard. That is
Please. Yeah.
But I had to do it, and I had to dance around steps, Reebok, fucking luminous, low-fat Lycra, and just like, Christ, my life sucks right now. But I embraced the struggle, and I got through it. And then on the other end of things, what I found was that, I suppose, my unique conditioning and the way I saw business meant that I had an idea which I think could have changed the way fitness education was being delivered. And I thought, like, if I could get together with someone who could give me the sort of the fulfillment bit, the bottom of it, I think we would have a really good product here. Because really, if you look at any business is only just three things. So there's marketing, so that M up here in the top. This is your marketing. So the way you get people towards your stuff, visitors to your website, and you get leads. And then leads, really, well, you sell them. You turn those into actual customers. And when people become customers, they get your product. So really, what I had was a marketing and sales system. And what I was selling in the past was cars, but now I just sell fitness. So it's the same thing. It's the marketing is marketing, sales is sales, and fulfillment is just when somebody gets your product, service, offering, or experience. Okay, so that was the big thing, and that's really, I suppose, the unique way I looked upon it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, definitely.
And Jay has helped me develop like the training, the education stuff for Elite, because he was much better at that sort of stuff than I was. And then really, when we came together, we had the perfect business we thought that would really make not only the best personal trainers going forward, but when they had sales and marketing. Because if you really, to put it plainly, most personal training courses just look at this bottom bit. They just look at the fulfillment box. You know, they do a personal training course and they do their best with what the information they have. We just felt we could do that better. And then we added the sales and the marketing, because really there's no good being the best personal trainer on earth if you can't actually sell and market anyone, because you're not going to have anybody to train.
Yeah, definitely.
Isn't that the best way to put it?
Yeah.
So what we're talking about here then today, we're going to focus on the S. We're going to focus on that middle one. You guys already are personal trainers. You don't need me to talk about that sort of stuff. You know, we could cover that in later stuff, but today we're just going to focus on that S. So we're selling in 3 dimensions, or 3D selling systems. Look, you have to come up with cool names for shit, don't you? But basically, the question everybody has when you're doing this sort of stuff, when I was leading sales teams, is can you teach anyone to be a great salesperson? And the answer is yes. If you know the secrets, and look, what would it be? If you had a system, you have to have some fucking secrets, right?
100%.
Otherwise, it's not jazzy. You need some secrets. So this is the thing. The first secret is you must master the inner game of sales. And basically what that is state management. So state management is how you feel in the moment, like moment to moment, what way you're acting. So certain emotional states lead to wealth and success, whereas other ones, like certainty, conviction, and clarity, that's going to be good shit. That's the good shit. Other ones lead to failure and poverty, like uncertainty, fear, overwhelm, greed, and anxiousness. So that's the shit you want to avoid. Empowering states then versus disempowering states, or what we call living in the solution versus living in the problem. So you see this a lot with trainers when they have, because look, you're conditioned from the day you grew up, the house you grew up in, the environment you grew up in. I just happened to grow up in an environment where everything was possible and was surrounded by people who were doing well. So that's what I took on. So I'm just trying to give that over to other people and help them do the best they can with the information they have and live up to their potential. So now you know this, you can see that the real secret is this: success starts in your mind. It starts by managing your state effectively before you speak a single word. And we remember the times we used to sit beside each other doing like calls for the A12. And this always happens, you know, you're halfway down a list, you're starting to get tired, you've heard a couple of no's, and you're like, oh fuck, and you pick up the shape. What's this next number? And like he turned around and go, don't make that call. Do not make that call. Because in the state you're in right there and then, how do you think you're going to perform on the phone? You're going to perform like shit. So before you speak a single word, that state has to be in the right. You need to be in that empowering state before you make a call, before you go out and speak to your client. It is so important.
Yeah, and it's very similar to like what's happened here. You know, one laptop hasn't worked, we were fucked off, and then we turn around and say, listen, let's grab the other laptop, let's rock on with it. So although, you know, it didn't work the first time around, we're rolling on and making the best with what we have here.
That's it.
I suppose that's the whole thought of state management, or, you know, dealing with a situation that you're in and making the best outcome of it.
Mm-hmm. If we hadn't changed their state there, it would have been like, fuck this, we're not doing it, let's go home.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. And this, you know this as well as I do, Jay. So the thoughts and the feelings you have about something will dictate your action and your results. So what we do is you have this certain thought, and the thoughts you have will definitely be determined by your social conditioning. So thoughts like, all salesmen are bad, they're all sleazy. That's one. And then the feelings you'll have associated with that is like, I don't want to be a sleazy salesman, so I'm never going to learn that sales thing because I don't need that. And then what's going to happen is you don't become good at sales, so the results you get are not what you want.
Or another going back to this situation where if you have an advertising campaign going out, you're going to have a series of leads come in. So over the course of a weekend, you come in on Monday morning, you've got 20 people to call. If the first 4 or 5 of them go poorly, what the thought that's going to start coming into your head is, all these leads are shit, which is going to give you a certain feeling, you're going to be like, this is a load of crap, this is a waste of time, all these people are wasting my time. Your actions then are going to be how you speak and how you communicate. Although you're talking on the phone, still your actions are going to dictate the way your voice is and tonalities and things like that you might talk about. And then obviously the result is the person on the other end of the phone can be like, don't trust this person, don't like this person, don't want what this person has.
All of that stuff comes across over the phone. As they say, you can hear a smile on the phone. So those thoughts and those feelings dictate your actions and your results. And what we're talking about then really is limiting beliefs versus not limiting beliefs, where you're starting to say things like, I'm responsible for my world. I create my world and I can make my own destiny. And I know that's a wee bit fucking in-depth for a Thursday at just past 1 o'clock, but that's really what it ends up as being. And reasons versus results is where you can either tell me your bullshit story, which is what a lot of people say. They say things like this: that won't work in my town. How many fucking times have we heard that? That won't work in my town. Or, no, people won't pay that money for personal training. You can't charge that here. And this is all these people telling me their story that they've attached. They've constructed from the thoughts that was in their mind. That's not going to happen in my time. And then they start telling themselves this bullshit story. So what they do is they don't take anything and say, no, that'll never work. They just don't listen to your advice. They say, that's not going to work in my time. And then they connect the story as to why they don't have to take any action. And then basically the results they get is going to be zero. So you can either tell your bullshit story as to why it's different for you and so on and so forth, or you can start taking massive action towards your goals and start sharing stories of your fucking results. Now, let's talk about a case in point. The first trainer I ever taught anything to was that guy there, Johnny Bruton. Is there a date on this? I think he popped in here to talk to the students. He was actually hiring some people for his gym. But back when I met him, he was on social welfare. He'd done the PT course with me. And basically, I was really impressed with him. I said, look, I'd love you to come on as a trainer in the gym, work in the gym. And he said, well, listen, I don't know. I've never sold anything. I was like, brilliant. If you just follow the system that I give you here, I'll have you selling PT. No problem at all. So I gave him the start in the place, and his first sale, and you're probably not going to believe me here, but it was over 10K. And he still has that client. In fact, he still trains. He owns his own gym now, Smart Training. And he told me the same shit. He was like, you can't charge that for personal training. Now, for him, it was a big thing to get over because he never sold anything before, and there's me asking him to sell £15,000 and £20,000 personal training packages for a year. But what he didn't know was, in the place where we were training, just around the corner, there was a place called New You. It's on Bagot Street, if you don't know it, New You. And they charge €130 for 30-minute sessions. The client he got in the gym was paying twice as much as what Johnny was about to ask him for. He nearly broke his arm off. Johnny couldn't fucking believe it. So this is the thing. Whenever you can get over those thoughts and beliefs that are actually creating the stories that you're telling yourself as to why you can't, when you get over that, it's fucking unbelievable what you can actually achieve and what your potential is. That's what Johnny's saying.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people will start off with this emotional thing, as Sean said there, I'm not worth, really what they're saying is, I'm not worth this amount of money. So it's an internal belief about themselves, and then what they'll start to do is come up with all this logic of why whatever they're doing is not worth that. So it's like, that won't work in my town is the usual when you're here. And then you kind of say to somebody, listen, do people drive BMWs and do people drive, Range Rovers in your town? They're going to nod, yeah. Well, then people have money to pay for training.
Damn right. The other one, which I thought was a cracker, I heard you say, Jay, it's like, does a fireman get paid the same money in Galway than he does in Dublin?
Yeah.
Yeah? Right, okay. So a fireman, they're on fucking good wages, right? So do, the guards.
Anybody.
So the cost of living, though, in Galway, mortgages are much less in Galway. So if you look at the disposable income that people like that have in that sector, it's actually more than it would have in Dublin. So this idea that they don't have money is fucking, it's just one of these bullshit stories that people tell themselves. Because look, taking action means you have to step outside your comfort zone. It's difficult. It's hard to take action. So people will do anything to look for self-confirmation bias, any reason that they can find to justify their current course of action if it means that it's more comfortable. But Johnny had taken the role with me, so basically I was pushing him out of his fucking comfort zone every day, and he's doing that for himself now. Another case in question would be Sarah Smith, perfect example. When we first met Sarah, this video, if you haven't seen this, I interviewed her live just in the Elite Fitness Performance Coaching community group. You want to listen to it, it's brilliant. She's been in the industry 12 years, but she first heard Jay talking about selling year-long PT packages, wasn't that right?
Yeah.
What happened there, Jay? She shit her pants, really, didn't she?
Yeah, her kind of thing, you know, like most trainers, I think she was selling, you know, 5, 10, 15 or 20 sessions, whatever it was. And then the point that we were trying to get across to her is, listen, you want to move people away from this small block of time, because in reality, what can you do with somebody with 10 training sessions? Not a lot. And then, especially for people who don't like sales, if every time the person comes to the end of 10 sessions, you've got to go back into that awkward thing of trying to sell them the next 10 sessions. So if somebody wanted to train with you for a year and you were training 2 or 3 times a week, you're probably going to have to make a sale somewhere between 8 and 10 times a year if you were going on that model. So wouldn't it be much better to sell somebody into the end result, what they want? And for a lot of people, they're going to want, you know, some result as in, I want to lose weight, or want to get fitter, or want to get stronger. But then they want to maintain that moving forward. So if you had 6 months or a year to work with somebody, won't the both of you get a lot more out of that relationship?
Damn right.
That's the kind of way we wanted to look at it.
That's what some people never think about. Like, if you're selling those blocks, like you say, Jason, you have to fucking sell them 8 or 9 times. That's crazy. And then they say, oh, I fucking hate this. No wonder.
What happens, I think, what happens with most people when they're selling blocks of training is somebody goes on holidays, or they take time off and then they don't come back, and somebody rings you, you know, 6 months later, and they're like, oh, I still have a session left. And it's like, what? You know, and it just gets messy. It's messy for the client, and it's also messy for the trainer.
Yeah. So look, it's not a good strategy. Get rid of your bullshit story and start fucking sharing your stories of success. Now, the only thing Sarah sells is year-long packages. That's it. She doesn't do anything else.
Don't think so.
Mental. So a complete shift. And basically, it's all about that state management and about the thoughts, feelings, actions, results you're going to get. Right? So that's how important state management is. Now, the next thing is, can we move this fucking
you can move it up if you click it and then drag it.
Daily.
And you put it over there. So it's kind of out of the
cool.
way. Move this bad boy up as well, right?
Daily. There we go.
Cool.
So secret number 2 is basically the outer game of sales. So the reason you need to start at the inner game and take care of your state, make sure you're in an empowering state rather than a disempowering state, you're living in the solution versus living in the problem, is because in the outer game of sales, your internal perception becomes your external projection. So if you feel like shit inside, if you're walking around like a big fucking negative bag of shit, well, guess what? Your company takes on the same characteristics and personality as you do. So you need to manage inside first, and then you can go out and look, if you're a one-man band, it's the same. If a team, it's the same. Because if you are walking around like a big negative moan bag, what are your clients going to do? They're going to be negative
moan bags.
If you've got a team and you're all negative and fucking depressed and shit, your team are going to be the same thing. They're going to be your mirror. So we need to take care of that first, and then you need to project this. You need to lead by example, create a unified team, and we talk about culture starting at the top. And then you have to have a vision for the future. So not so much, like, goals are important, yes, but you can't sell people your goals. You have to sell them on your vision. You get a much bigger buy-in with the vision than you do with the goals.
Yeah, I think if you kind of think about it, if you were standing on the side of a lake, you know, and it's a big, huge lake, and there's this island in the middle, and let's say you want to get to there, that's your vision, you know, but there's obviously just fucking water in between. Goals are those stepping stones, you know, that might be just underneath the water then. You're going to use them to get to this end destination, but they shouldn't necessarily be the end destination in of themselves. Does that kind of make sense?
Perfect, yeah. Like that. So we'll move on, because you're going to hold all this together by having frequent meetings, staff training, setting reward structures, and have a zero negativity policy in your business. Like we're just talking to you guys here at one. We had a meeting this morning. We had breakfast with the whole team. We'll have a meeting later on for the elite. I mean, fuck me, we have about 4 or 5 meetings a week. You should definitely, at the very bare minimum, have one meeting a week. I would say, fuck you definitely need 2.
Yeah, and even if you are a one-man band, that meeting might be with yourself, and that might seem simple. But it's, listen, you sit down with yourself with notepad and pen, and you review the week that's passed, what's gone well, where have you fallen down on, and then you can tweak and change for the week moving forward. So it's just taking a bit of a point in time where you're just getting clarity on where you're moving to and what your objectives are.
Absolutely. That's
that kind of,
yep,
you know?
Yep, that's very important. You need to review your shit, see how you're getting on. Okay? Now you know this stuff. You're going to know the real secret we can show you, because now knowing what you know now, you're ready to receive this stuff. Sales is really just a numbers game. So you've got to know your numbers. And you've got to know the 4 buying archetypes first and foremost. This is really beautiful when you know this stuff. So ready. These are the perfect. You don't get very many of these dudes. The ones who just walk in, they've read all your blogs, they've seen your ads, they've maybe phoned up a couple of times, and they walk in and they're just ready to close. They're ready to go. They already know they want your shit. You're just an order taker. They're beautiful, aren't they? Only 20% of your people are going to be like that. Then you're going to have the guys who are still shopping. Now, these guys are in par because they're kind of apathetic about when they buy. There's a saying in sales, people don't buy when you want them to buy, they buy when they're ready to buy. So that's these people, they're still shopping. They represent a good prospect though, but the thing is, there's no urgency with them. So they could buy 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, fucking hell. Do you know what? We had a client on the elite course, on the PT course, and he'd been messaging me for 4 years. 4 years. Now, the thing is, if I hadn't been sending emails frequently and doing videos and staying consistent with my stuff, he would never purchase. He would have forgotten me. So you've got to stay top of mind. It's really, really important to do that. So when people are ready to buy, you're the first person they think of. Yeah. So that's the top 50%. Then you've got the curious cat. These people are just, they will take up a lot of your time. They seem like they might be a good fit for the business, but they ask a million questions and don't really do an awful lot about taking action on it. And then the last, but not least, the tire kickers. These are the worst of the worst. The first message they'll send you is, how much is it? And then they'll ask you 500 questions. And then at the end, when you answer all the questions, they're going to say, I'll think about it. So what we're talking about it is like, you need to be spending time with this 50%, because 50% of your customers out of every 100, let's just call it 100 then, 50 are potential buyers and 50 are a waste of your time. So these guys here, the curious cats and tire kickers, you want to weed these people out. You want to basically qualify these guys so that you can see that these people here, you do not spend any of your time with them, and you focus all your attention on these people here because they represent a proper prospect for your business. All right? So now that you know the numbers and you know the 4 buying archetypes and the guy you should be spending time with, what way do you actually close them? So this is very, very important, because a lot of personal trainers make this mistake. You should be selling appointments on the phone. So this is the first thing. Sell appointments. And then what you see, the set, show, close at the top of the screen there. So basically what you're counting is, how many appointments do you set, how many of them show up, and then how many do you close. So those are the important numbers. You don't need anything more extravagant than that. That's the simplest and probably the most effective sales management and monitoring tool you will need if you want to sell personal training. So set appointments on the phone. That's your set. When they show up, count them, and then fucking close them. And here's the thing. If somebody shows up your business, what's that telling you? They're interested.
They're red hot. They're looking for something. If they walk out the door and they don't purchase any of your products or your services, you've either done a shitty job in the setting up that appointment, because you're attracting people that are never going to buy your product. Mm-hmm. You know, so getting somebody in on something that's free or something super, super low, and then trying to sell them something that's really, really expensive. And again, expensive is relative, mightn't be your best strategy. Or in the sales process, you've let yourself down some way.
Absolutely.
In some way, shape, or form.
Holy shit. Yeah. If you've got a guy who knows, he's pre-qualified, like he knows the price of your product and he's ready to go, and he turns up in a point, fuck, you need to beat him around the face with a wet fish. You need to really fuck that up. Shit. Nobody walks in. This is what car salesmen used to say to me. Well, you guys used to say, you know, he's just looking around. That is bullshit. Nobody ever woke up on a Saturday morning and says, hey, honey, you know, we've got nothing to do today. Let's go to your car dealership and look around. Fucking no one does that. Oh, no, wait, there is a couple of fucking rally heads. You know,
yeah, there might be 1 or 2 crazy people.
But you know, it's the same guy every Saturday. For fuck's sake, everybody knows his name, Trevor, the fucking toolbox that nobody wants to talk to. But everybody else, there's like no one ever showed up to a car dealership unless they're close. If they're in your business, they are 99% of the way there. All you need to do is make them feel comfortable saying yes. Right? Now, case in point, Case in point is this here. Oh shit! I don't want to do this. There's a guy. This is quite a long.
Move that over.
Oh, it's away. So this was Phil Taylor, really really nice guy. So basically, he messaged me. He was in a panic. And he was like, "Look, Sean, I've got the fucking best. I've got the best sales script ever." He was using Jordan Belfort's Straight Line Persuasion. Jordan Belfort, if you don't know, is the Wolf of Wall Street. So a pretty good fucking script, all right? So he says, look, I introduce myself, who I am, why I'm calling in a prospect, and I goes through all this thing, and he goes, fair enough. He uses the fucking Jordan Belfort close it, tell him it's a cash outlay of this, and blah, 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 blah. Then he has rebuttals, and then he goes through all this here, fair enough again, and as soon as I read it, I see your problem, give me your number. What was his problem? He was trying to sell personal training over the phone. I was like, this, all I want you to change is this. Simple tweak. And what happened? I says, look, just tell me how you get on. So I says, look, he's like, I really appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. Here's me over here saying, like, just tell me how you get on. So he comes back and he says, I booked in 4 people for an appointment this week, straight after we spoke on Friday. I'm going to run a new campaign later today, so I'll let you know how that goes. You just see it my beer can. And I was like, fuck, anytime. How many calls did you get to get the 4 people booked in? And then we can see, I was trying to really manage it, trying to help him to see exactly, well, what the fuck, why did you only get 4? And he was like, it was the last 4 people on my list. He just burnt his whole fucking list. So I was like, oh my God, why didn't you just fucking reach out and ask for help earlier? I wish.
Just numbers wise there, you can see he got an extra €700 a month and he spent 30.
Yeah. Now,
that's pretty powerful.
The question I was, is like, if he had asked me sooner, how much would you fucking either close?
Because too many trainers are reluctant to ask for advice or ask for help or to hire a coach.
Yep.
They're trying to sell people coaching, accountability, but yet they don't want to buy coaching accountability for themselves.
Fucking wild. You know?
And it's usually when they get to right to the end of their tether, gym is about to close. Yes. They're fucking nearly bankrupt. They've got €50 left and they want to fucking give it to you. It's like, hell, I'm sinking. Like, why the fuck didn't you come to me fucking a year ago when we first had this conversation?
Yeah. In fact, there's a couple of people in our group at the moment who are exactly that. Yeah. Fucking mental. So that bothers my manager. Like, I wish you would have came to me sooner. Fuck me, how many could we have closed? Now, the last question I suppose you could be asking is, right now that you know the inner game sales, outer game sales, it's like, what the fuck is the script? Like, what do you say? So here is, rather than throw you fish, I'm going to teach you, this is how to build the perfect script that will walk somebody through the exact way we do it, that will always lead to a successful outcome. Now, a successful outcome isn't always money. Like I say, if you're on the phone, you're selling an appointment, but that's the successful outcome. When you're in person, then you're looking for manchachos, all right? So let's go. So the number one thing, and this is the most important rule, is the best salespeople sell through stories. Like, at the very start of this thing, what did I do with you? I told you a fucking story, and the story was to do a couple of things. One, position me as an expert and get your attention. So when I told you the figures, and they're all real, by the way, I didn't make any of that shit up. Any of the companies that we own, I mean, their own company's house, fucking look them up. It's public record. It's in the domain. So the figures that I'm saying, it's all true. But when you're telling, fuck, he sold that shit, I'm going to listen to him. Right? So when you're telling your story about why you got into fitness, it needs to resonate, and it will resonate with a certain target audience or demographic of people who, when they hear what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve, they're going to go, fuck, I get what he stands for. I get what he did. Shit, that's exactly what I want to be part of. Have I explained that right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Now, other people that tell really shitty stories or don't do this so well, it's very, very hard for people to get a feel for what it is you're trying to achieve. And then if you're not crystal clear about your message and where you're going with it, then people aren't really buying why you're doing it. They just buy what. And if they're looking at what you do, they can compare that with somebody else and then using logic based on that, and they'll differentiate you on price. And you don't want that to happen. You don't want people to differentiate you on price, because that shit's raised to the bottom stuff. So learn how to craft beautiful stories that tell people your message, what you believe in, and you're going to have people come to you for very deep reasons, which price always goes out the window. All right. Then the second, and this was actually the first lesson I ever learned in sales, is people do not buy products. People buy people. And actually, I was delivering a sales training to, was it the Aura Group? Remember that place in Canberra?
Yeah.
It was the Aura Group, and they had this massive build. That place must have been 3 or 4 million that built out. And the guy, Enda Heron, was the dude who rang me and said, Sean, like, we've got all these trainers from all different, they've went somewhere from all different academies, you know, they all train differently. And I don't think any of them have sold before, but I need them to be part of the sales team. I need them to actually lead people around. You get the idea, lead them around, give them a tour, and then close them at the end. I says, absolutely. He needed to make 180,000 in his first month. So I had them for a couple of days training. And the real funny side of this is half of them were deaf, right? And Jay was actually training them how to deliver programming the next 2 days. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I forgot to tell them they were all deaf.
It wasn't funny that they were deaf. It was funny that he didn't tell me.
Yes.
Just in case.
So I just forgot to tell him, like, oh yeah, half of them are deaf. And he was going up to try and teach them programming. Fuck me. Just slipped my mind. It genuinely did. So anyway, getting back to the story. So I'm standing in front of these guys. I'm trying to demonstrate this point here. So I said, look, has anybody made a purchase recently? A big purchase. And a girl puts up her hand. What has she bought? A fucking car. And I was like, Jesus, this is perfect. Tell us all about it. So she went into this spiel about the first place she went into. The salesman was really busy. There was a big queue of people. He sort of threw a brochure at her, ran away. He was trying to deal with everyone, so she didn't really know, and she left that place. And then the next place she went to, the salesman sat her down, brought her a cup of coffee, explained everything about it, found out what she was looking for, showed her the perfect car that matched that, then took her on a test drive, brought her back, explained the finance. She knew everything crystal clear, and she thought she would never understand finance, but he made it so simple. And then when she bought the car, he presented her with a big bunch of flowers, and it was like, wait, everybody's going, oh, fuck, it's lovely. I said, see what happened there? And everybody was stunned. They're like, what? Well, they didn't get it. She spoke for 3 minutes and never mentioned the car once. All she spoke about was the salesperson. And I said, this is true, my God, strike me down dead. I said, what kind of car did you buy? And the girl could not even remember what kind of fucking car she bought. It was beautiful. So this is the thing. People do not buy products. They buy the person. They buy people, and they will buy people that they know, like, and trust. And the way to get people to know, like, and trust you is rule number one. Tell stories and get them to like you by them seeing that you're a human, you've changed in your armor, and they will get to know, like, and trust you, and that's when they will be in the intimate zone with you, and that's when you'll get the buying signals and you'll be able to close people.
Nice.
Isn't that it?
Yeah.
So number three is something that I learned from Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. He's back again. So 4 seconds you affirm 3 things. 1, you're sharp as a tack, enthusiastic as all hell, and you're an expert in your field. So the way you answer, and I get all the students to do this in classes, like, why would I personal train you? And I give them 4 seconds to answer the question. And most of them go, because I'm the best. And they go to the next person. Why would I personal train you? Why should I pay you 50 quid? This guy says he's 30. And it's like, because I'll get your results. It's like, none of those answers tell me you're enthusiastic as hell, an expert in your field, and sharp as a tack. So that is back to like being able to sell yourself, your why, your belief, what you stand for. And the answers that people come up with are going to resonate with a certain target audience. So I get them to craft and be able to answer that question really, really well with something that they fully believe in. Have I explained that right?
Yeah, nice.
So, and again, that's sort of entwined with the 1 to 3 that are kind of entwined. So you need to be able to answer that question. Boom. It should be off the tip of your tongue. So if you aren't scripting that and role-playing that or practicing that, when somebody asks you that question, you need to be prepared. Because many times have people walked in the door here and said, hey, well, is this a gym? What do you do here? And the way you answer that, the first 4 seconds, they've already made the decision whether they're going to do business with you or whether they're going to walk out the door again. All right, so that's very, very important. In order of importance, though, it's definitely tonality. Tonality is the #1 way to get people to engage with you and listen to your shit. I mean, if I was delivering this to you in a big, so we're talking about sales today, so the most important, you'd be fucking off in a heartbeat. You'd be gone. This is a great thing about when you're teaching and stuff. We do a lot of presenting, we do a lot of teaching. And to get people engaged, it's working on tonality that gets people's engagement. The next thing is body language. Body language is uber important. We can only touch upon it here. I mean, we go into this in depth. We go in depth with it with students when we have them here, and especially when we're doing the sales stuff live. And then the words matter. But look, the words do matter 100%. That may sound contradictive, but it's not. It's like tonality and body language will get people to listen to you, and that will give you their attention. And then they begin to listen to what you say. So the words do matter 100%. You can't be talking absolute shite, basically. Okay? So that's number 4. Number 5. So now, if you think about it, we've just managed to control the first 4 seconds of a sale. We're answering like somebody who's sharp, enthusiastic, and they're passionate about what they do. So once you've got into that and you've overcome that first few seconds, the next thing you start to do is you start asking questions. And the rule number 5 is the income in your lifetime is dependent upon the quality and quantity of the questions you ask. The things that I see the best salespeople do, different than most other salespeople who don't do so well, is if you've got a script, the biggest mistake you can make is ask the questions just to hear the answer so you can move on to the next question. So there's only 3 questions you really need to ask. The first one is, tell me about your health. Like, what are you trying to achieve? What is your health and fitness goals? Tell me about you and your health and fitness goal. Now, if you ask that question, the first answer you get back is always, nearly 100% of the time, bullshit, right?
Yeah, I want to get fit.
Yes. Now, if you're like, okay, I've asked my question, I've got an answer, moving on, you're fucked. So this is the thing, you must seek first to understand. So the questions you ask, I might stay on question 1 and I might ask it 7 different ways until I get to the real emotional content. You get to something that's actually usable. Isn't that right?
Yeah, 100%.
So this is the thing. The people who do really, really well are the ones who ask the question and are able to dig out the real hot buttons, the answers that have the emotional content, and then they go, oh, I've got it. Now I'm going to move on to the next question. So you've got to ask questions, the correct questions, and you've got to ask them and know when you've got the right answers. And the ones that are the right answers are the ones that have emotional content in them. Like, I want to get fitter has no emotional content in it. Am I explaining that right?
Yeah, because the next question you're going to have to ask is, well, why do you want to get fitter? Or, well, what does fitness mean to you?
Yeah. See?
So then you can start to delve in a little bit deeper. And ultimately, if you ask the question of, well, what does fitness mean to you? Then the next question is going to be, well, why is that important to you? And by asking that question, I think a lot of times you need at least 3 whys.
Fuck it, right?
So
yeah.
It's like, why? They're going to say something. Well, why is that important? They're going to say something. Well, why is that important? And then I'll go into a spiel of, my husband's left me for a younger woman, and now I've had 3 children, and I'm a little bit overweight now, and I want to get back out in the game.
There you
It's
go.
like, all right, now we've got something that we can really deal with here.
Yes, there's where the pain is, definitely. So people are moving away from pain or towards pleasure, and you've got to be asking the questions to find out both before you move on. You've got to have both. All right? So moving on to number 6 then. And this is super, super important. I've heard too many salespeople talk too much, and I hear this, oh, he'd be a great salesperson. He has the gift of the gab. Fucking bullshit. The best salespeople are the best listeners. So if you ask a question, what you do next is you shut the fuck up. And you listen 80% of the time, and you talk 20% of the time. And this is the other thing. Listen with intent. So if you listen, if you ask the right questions first and foremost, like Jay's saying, and then you listen with intent, people are going to tell you everything you need to know in order to close them. They're going to tell you everything that's important to them. And your job is to listen, maybe even take some notes in the beginning. And what's that? If somebody sat down in front of me and was asking me questions and then writing that down, I said, fuck, they are listening. These people are really listening to me. And then they start feeding it back. So if I'm listening to you, I hear that you want this and this and this. Is there anything I missed out there? If somebody says that to you, it's like, fuck, that dude really knows. He understands me. And that's what people want. They want to feel like they're being listened to and they're understood, and you're not just trying to fucking sell them something. All right? Because here's number 7. You must resist the urge to pitch your product. Too many, like, this is the thing about this one here, sell me this pen. I do this all the time with people. As soon as you give the pen to somebody, sell me that pen, they actually try to say, look at this pen, it's fucking brilliant, and it's mega, and it has a clicky thing, and oh, look, it's got a rubber job and all. I'm like, right. The question they forgot to ask is, hey, are you in the market for a pen? Because straight away, that's your pre-qualification, like Jay said earlier. If you've got somebody down into your business without asking them, are you willing to invest between 150 to 500 to get your fitness goals? If you haven't asked them that first, they could be wasting your time when they got there because they could be looking for shit for free, right? So the first question is, are you in the market for a pen? If they say no, it's, well, fuck off because I sell pens and you're taking up my time. So the first question is, are you in the market for a pen? And if they say yes, I say, well, what are you looking for in a really great pen? You have to resist the urge to pitch a product. You haven't even found out what the fuck's important to them yet. All right? They might want a pencil. So if you just jump straight in and start pitching your product, what you're saying is, I'm one of those sleazy fucking salesmen who only gives a shit about money. So resist the urge to pitch your product, especially early on. You need to listen with intent. You need to qualify them properly, find out all the emotional content, and then begin to feed back all the shit. If I'm listening right, this is what I'm hearing, Mary. You say you want boom, 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 and what you really don't like is ding, ding, ding. Does that sound fair enough? And they're going to be going, yes, yes, yes. And by the way, these are all trial closes. When you hear, yes, yes, he's listening. See that? So resist the urge to pitch your product. This is going to sound contradictory, but it's not. When it's right, you must always ask for the business. This is the hardest part for personal trainers, right?
Yeah.
They find it hard to ask for money. So in the car sales game, we were conditioned that, like, as soon as somebody walked into the dealership, you had 3 minutes in which you had to introduce themselves. From the moment their foot hit the first tile of the dealership, walked into the showroom, you had 3 minutes in which to introduce yourself and say, hey, how you doing? I'm Sean. I see you're having a look around. I'm going to be sitting over here at the desk. If you need me, give us a shout. And look, I see you're looking at a Civic. There's a brochure. That's all you had to do. You introduce yourself, let him know where you were, and give him a fucking brochure for the car he was looking at. And that's it. And then the first introduction, great. You've done that within the 3 minutes. If he said, oh, yeah, actually, and that's normally what happened, can I just ask you? Yep. So you start to qualify. If you qualified, you had to sit him down at your desk. You sit him down at your desk, you qualified him. If you qualified him, you must ask him for a test drive. If you got a test drive, you come back and you offer him the finance. You show him the finance. If you got to the finance point, you must ask for the business. So this was the rules. So I just lived my life from the age of fucking 17, conditioned into that. Other people haven't. So I need to tell you guys, you have to ask for the business. If you've had somebody into the gym, so you've got them on the phone, you've sold an appointment, he's sitting in front of you, and you've talked them through all the shit, you have to say, look, is there one of these we can get you started with today? It's that fucking simple. But some people lose sales because they simply don't ask for the business.
Yeah, no, the biggest thing I suppose people would say is, I'm going to think about it. So even if somebody's sitting in front of you, it's like, I'm going to think about it, either before or after the point where you might ask for the business. And then most trainers will go, okay, well, you have my number.
Yeah.
Call me back when you're ready.
I would say, well, look, you got me over here right now. What is it you need to think about in case there's something I can help you with?
Exactly.
I remember the first time I said that on the phone, one of the sales girls downstairs, she heard me and she was like, what the fuck? It was like, I just fucking slapped a baby or something. She was like, they must have said, can I think about this? And you said, like, what are you thinking about? I went, yeah. And I didn't know you could do that. It's like, what the fuck? Of course you can. If somebody says, I want to think about it, say, hey, well, what are you thinking about in case there's something I can help with? I'm here right now. Tell me. Fuck. So if somebody says they're thinking about it, all that's saying is, you haven't done a good enough job either qualifying me, finding the right need, or I just don't trust you right now because, or I just don't know. I'm not certain that this is the right thing for me. You haven't done a good enough job, basically. You haven't either qualified correctly or you haven't presented the right product. All right, so just go back and reestablish value and ask for the order again. What is it you have to think about? Well, you said that was important. Is that still important? Does that idea make sense to you? Well, if we did this, would that idea make sense to you? Cool. Well, can we get you started on that then? Fuck. Nothing wrong with that. All right? And then 9. So this was Zig Ziglar, one of the best salesmen ever lived. He says there's 5 basic obstacles to any sale. No need, no desire, no trust, no money, no hurry. That's it. So the second last one there, money. If somebody genuinely does not have the money, they should not be sitting in front of you. I'm a big believer in pre-qualification. You should ask them before. Like if you're selling an appointment, say, listen, just to let you know, to get your fitness goals and what we've been talking about here today could range between 2 and just hit them with a range. Now, it's going to be somewhere in between that. Is that something you see yourself investing to get your goals? And if they say, yeah, great. So then you shouldn't have people coming in front of you and sitting in front of you, wasting your fucking time, who say, oh, that's outside of my budget. Your job is to pre-qualify these people and make sure they're in front of you. Now, look, if somebody is actually broke, then the rule don't sell broke people applies. Do not sell broke people. They will break your bollocks. Okay, so those are the only 5 obstacles you're going to have. No need, no desire, no trust, no money, and no hurry. And your job is to wait out the people with no money and then create all the rest of that stuff through a good qualification and presentation process.
And the thing about it as well, if whatever price point your gym is, let's say your gym was €100 or €500 or €1,000, depending on what you're doing. It could easily be €1,000 if you're doing personal training with somebody and you want to train 3 to 5 times a week. What you got to think to yourself is, if somebody's pushing out to the absolute limit to pay for whatever your service is, they're not going to stay with you for a long time, because there's going to come a month where they get a crazy electricity bill, or they get a crazy
car bill,
or they need new tires in the car or something like that. And if they're already pushing the capacity of their outgoings in order to pay you, the chances are that they're going to leave as soon as any of those things come along. So most people that are going to be good clients are going to have a good buffer between what they're paying you and what they could possibly pay you. That can make sense.
Excellent point. Okay. So that's the 5 basic obstacles. No need, no desire, no trust, no money, no hurry. Then, number 10, and this is probably the most important of all of them. If you remember my marketing, sales, fulfillment thing at the start, like never, ever sell something you don't believe in 100%. So if your product sucks, fucking fix it before you go out and sell it. Because listen, if you don't, people are going to, they're going to fuck you anyway, because they're going to go and tell everyone that is absolute shite, don't go near it. So just fix your product, work on your fulfillment box first, then move the sales and the marketing. And another reason that you should fix your fulfillment is, look, sales and marketing costs money. And if you're putting it into a bucket with holes in it, so if your fulfillment bucket has holes, let's think about them as buckets holding water. So all your marketing, you cascade that down into your sales. If it fills up, then it's going to go into your fulfillment. But if your fulfillment has holes in it, you're going to have to spend money on marketing and sales trying to fill up a leaky bucket. And that doesn't work. You're just wasting money. So make sure your product, it's 100% you believe in it. Can you get people the results you say? Would you be willing to give a money back guarantee? Would you be able to give double your money back guarantee if you weren't able to do what you say you could? If you're getting into that territory, then I think you believe in your product 100%, and it's time to go and sell and market the shit out of it. Anything you would add there?
No, I think you covered that well there, man.
Cool. So that is the 10. Now, dudes, I want to know, what did you draw earlier? I bet you a load of people drew fucking dudes. I'll tell you what the guys in the bank loan thing did. I'll just scribble it out here very quickly. So the dudes who were selling the bank loan was, this is the shit they drew. They drew like little fucking, piles of money. It's bullshit. Okay, if you're trying to sell a bank loan, you should have drawn something like this. That's a car with a bow on it. Okay. So what you're doing is you're selling the end result. So you basically, you have to draw a picture or paint the picture of the end result. That's what you're selling in personal training. You're not selling fucking dumbbells and HIIT sessions and before and after pictures and weigh-ins and that's fucking bullshit. You want to sell the end result. Put that right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So that's just something for you guys to think about, because what we're talking about here is never sell things, sell what the thing does. All right. And this is like what we see a lot of personal trainers do, the mistake they make. They have this kind of advert out where it's like, can you imagine looking this good now? Stop winning. Stop complaining. Let us get what you want. I didn't pick somebody in Dublin or Ireland, in case anybody knew them. I thought I was picking on them. All right. So we got this. Look at this here. There's fitness models all over this stuff. There's fucking girls with bikinis on and but your client looks like this. And he's watching this going, fuck me, if I go to that gym, then they're going to make me chicken and broccoli forever. Fuck yes, fuck everyone, I'm not going to the gym. That's the problem. So the way we're communicating is we're trying to sell what? We're here. We're trying to sell what? But people don't buy what you do, they buy why. So we need to start communicating and selling the end result and getting people to join a cause or a community. And I mean, this is all Simon Sinek stuff, starts with why. Do you know what I mean? What he talks about is like the limbic part of the brain is what controls all your decision making and emotion. So if you sell to that part of the brain, you will get much better buy-in, plus price goes out the window. If you think about it, if you think about the last purchase you made, which you just, this is the way I buy shit anyway. You fall in love with something, you go, fuck, I've got to have that. And then you look at the price and you go, shit. And then you start thinking to yourself, but I've been working really hard lately, you know what? And so if I bought that for myself, I've been working even harder. And you start to use your head to justify the emotional buying that you've just had. But if you try and do it the other way, it doesn't work. If you sell based on logic, people are going to differentiate you on what? So you're trying to sell £50 a session, personal training, and you're saying 5 HIIT sessions, before and after photos, nutrition guide, strength and conditioning sessions. And what they'll do is they'll compare you to someone else and say, well, he says I'm going to get 6. It's the same price. Fuck it, I'll go to him. But if you're selling an end result, an experience, if you're selling that, you cannot compare that. It's totally different. Price goes out the window. You're in a blue ocean. You're not competing with everyone else. You're not in that red ocean, which is bloody because everyone else is cutting each other's throats. They're having a race to the bottom. They're trying to do it cheaper, faster, better. You're not even in that. You're selling a completely different opportunity. I hope I'm explaining that right, because it is a bit deep. This is not opinion, by the way. This is fucking biology. I'm not going to pretend I'm a fucking brain surgeon, but this is backed up by all sorts of biology and stuff. So it's not what you do, but it's why you do it. And the best at this is Apple. That's how they would talk if they were like everyone else, but they don't. They start with the cause. They start with everything we do. We believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. They start with the cause right at the start, and then they finish with the pitch. So that's why it's super important to craft your why. We have a video out just at the minute where John T. Kenny's talking about his why. And if you remember the story bit at the start, the best salespeople sell through stories. Like, you've got to be able to sell your story, because as a personal trainer, you're selling yourself in the beginning, aren't you?
Yeah.
So that's why it's super, super important. Selling emotion, they're going to close themselves on logic. All right? Like, we have a gym here. Our gym is between 200 and 500 euros a month to train here in group training. Next door, it's 50 quid. Right? Next door, it's 50 quid. Now, look, they've got grass next door. We've got grass. They've got kettlebells. We've got kettlebells. We squat, bench, deadlift. They squat, bench, deadlift. So what's the fucking difference? It's the way we are wrapping it and the kind of clientele we're pitching it to. And we're pitching on emotion. We're selling an experience much more than just dumbbells and fucking kettlebells. And that means that you have price elasticity. You can charge what you like, because you're not competing against that. You're in a completely separate marketplace. You've created your own market. All right? And that's how to close high-ticket sales, guys. Stop selling personal training. Stop selling what you do. Start selling why. Start selling experiences. And that's when you're going to get into the high-ticket arena. Now, what next? Well, I want to invite you guys to learn everything from us live. And we'll be able to go in much more in depth, because we'll have loads more time. I mean, I think we've taken nearly about an hour here. But, I mean, each one of those three things, we could go into much more depth. I want to take you to the Clayton Hotel in Leopardstown. We'll put you in a room with 35 other guys. We'll spend between 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We'll go through sales hacking live, and we'll be able to give you the actual scripts. That's what most people ask for, is like, give us your script. We want your script. You can have the actual script word for word. The one we use to close high-ticket sales at our gym, I should say, at our gym. And what we're talking about is over €1,500. So over €1,500 we would deem to be a high-ticket sale. We're going to give you the same scripts that our Inner Circle group have. And some of those guys are creating revenues of over 14K per month. And just case in question, the guy that's closing 14 grand a month, and this is how important it is to know your numbers, because his potential is a heck of a lot higher than that. We were like, so, you know, right, what's your revenue for this month? And he was like, he wasn't fucking certain. He was like, Jesus Christ, you don't even know capacity of your gym. So he's taking his foot off the pedal because he's got 14K a month revenue, and he thinks that's fucking fantastic. And he's like, shit, dude, what's your target for next month? And he's like, more than 14 grand? What the fuck? It's like, you can't just take your foot off the pedal because you're making 14K a month. And there's probably people watching this webinar going, what are you making 14K a month? Yeah, and this is the thing. He's making 14K a month, but his actual potential is more like 40K a month. 40 fucking K a month. But his problem is he's got great scripts and he just isn't managing his numbers as effectively as he should. But when he does, he will be hitting 40K a month, won't he? Yeah. And this is also the same strategy we use here at Elite. And it's used throughout our group, Galway, Belfast, the whole lot for selling the Elite courses, the same strategies. So that's going to be Saturday, 10th of June, 12 to 4. That's next week, next Saturday, at the Clayton Hotel in Leopardstown. We'll be going through the 4 inner world principles. So there's 4 of them. There's state, there's belief, there's standards, there's focus. Like we've only just touched on state here today. So we'll be going through a lot more of that stuff. And believe me, that in itself is enough. I mean, the only thing I told Johnny Bruton at the very, the guy I told you at the start, it was just that. He didn't even have a script. I was just like, all I needed to do was make him believe it was possible. And he fucking did it. And what happened once he sold one, he sold another. Because that's what happens. Once you see it's possible, you do it. And it's all from taking care of the inner game. So imagine what you're going to be like when you get the other 3. Now, the outer game basically is going to be persuasion strategies. We'll go into tonality in depth. We'll be talking about body language. And then the KPIs you need to succeed. So that's the key performance indicators, knowing your numbers. We're also then going to be going through mastering and controlling the sale. So there's 6 triggers of persuasion and influence that you need to know. Then we're going to be talking about controlling the sale towards a close, qualification techniques that we use, how to handle rejection, like the I think about it one. Well, you said, well, there's more, loads more. And then finally closing the deal, getting people to say yes. We'll be going through all of that stuff here. This is exactly, I just wanted to show you some people who are having really great success with this. So Russ Meadows here. Oh shit, this is Russ Meadows. Basically, he came over to us, spent a day, flew over from Manchester. Russ Meadows and Sam Dimmick. They spent 1,500 quid to spend a day with us. We give them the exact strategy that we're going to be taking you through in the day. And there he is. What he filled his gym, 30 guys between 250 and 500. And he's able to repeat that over and over and over again. Dan McCaffrey, top right there. Here's how we made 4 grand in 7 days selling. There's Niall Rooney, the dude who we give this exact system, the scripts, the selling processes, the whole up. He was actually in Australia. Yeah, he's in Australia selling A12. He made 5 sales in his first night. 1,500. No, it was more than that. It was
$2,000 or $3,000, whatever that is in euros or pounds. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know what the fucking conversion was, but he was super happy with the 5 sales. He ended up filling out that one. Owen Gallagher, his sign-ups this week. He's had 6 sign-ups for 14-day, 2 warm. So, like, all these guys are having massive success with stuff, is what I'm saying here. So we're going to give you the full 3D selling system, selling in 3 dimensions. It's going to give you the inner game principles, the outer game principles, mastering and controlling the sale. And as a bonus, we're going to give you the actual scripts we use. Look, that's what we normally sell at 1,500 quid for a full day consult. For you guys, we're going to give it to you for 97. The room holds 35. The link is there. So all we want you to do is click the link. It'll take you to the page and you can register for it. Like we said, though, there's 35 spots in that thing. It's going to be €97, 12 to 4. Clayton Hotel, Leopardstown, and we'll go through the whole lot. Deadly.
That is it, folks. So listen, any questions? Obviously, this isn't being done live at the moment because we had trouble hooking all this technology up. Listen, you don't have to be thick as dog shit and still make money.
Yeah, we don't computer so good.
We don't computer that good, man. So listen, guys. Obviously, you're not going to be able to click that link because it's on our screen. It's not on your screen. But we will send you the link. So,
Yes.
obviously, if you're watching this video, you've got an email off us and we are giving you a link, okay? Within that same email, you're going to be able to see that link. So, if you are interested, click on it. Obviously, if you have any questions, either hit myself or Sean up or hit us up in the Elite FPA group, which you should all be in. If you're not, let us know and we'll add you in there. Sean, is there anything you wanted to add in?
I just want to say thanks for your attention, guys. It's been great to deliver that stuff to you. I've been working really hard on it. I love talking to people about sales and just seeing the results that people have with it. That's even better than me being a sale these days. I just love seeing people sell with our strategies. So
He's got boner for sale.
yeah, mushroom tip be moist. So guys, look, type in that link if you can, elitefpa.clickfunnels.com/SHL-live. Or like Jay says, you'll get it in your email. Thank you, much love, good night.
Peace.
Now how the fuck do I stop this?
End meeting. You need to stop recording, Eddie.
Oh, yep.